for a few people to come in. See what we get here. We got there's a sound. What's this? Retouches on. Okay. Right, there we go. Can everybody hear me first of all? Just give us a thumbs up if you can hear me. When I get my comments up. Let's have a look. Clear filter SSA. Right. Well, I'm sitting up here in the ENIAC at the moment, guys. I'm on 103 kilowatts, doing pretty well, 67%, so that's really good. I've been here about 7-8 minutes, something like that, and I'm already getting quite good speeds and everything, so I'm happy with that. And anyway, let me know how your day is going. Can you hear me? Anybody's in there? Alan, thank you, Alan. Fine, excellent stuff. Yeah, so just a quick live really. I don't hardly ever go live, and I just want to start touching base with my community a lot more and just getting your feedback on things as well, like with the channel and stuff like that. And not only that, but just your thoughts about electric cars and stuff like that. Alan, do you have an electric car? Let me know. But yeah, so this car here, this Skoda, I've mentioned this before in a few videos, but this car is, if you're, like I've said this before, if you're after a family-sized sort of SUV kind of shaped car like this one is, you must go and test drive one if you're in the market at the moment for looking at a car of this kind of size. So if you've got a family or whatever, and you know, you want a bigger car like this with a pretty massive boot and stuff like that, this is without a shadow of a doubt the car to go for. It is a fantastic car, it really is. You know, I've been driving it now for what, 2.5 months. I mean, I passed my test in 1990 going back in the day, yeah, so long time ago. And I've driven every kind of car you can, and to be honest with you, I wasn't really a massive Skoda fan actually, if I'm really honest. I mean, in the early days they were classified as kind of cheap and whatever, you know, but they've come on so much, and not only that, but it's just because when you're looking at a car, you want to have that all-round you want to have that all-round car, you know, that's what you basically want, and this fits the bill so perfectly. You know, as you probably know, I've got two cars. I've got a BYD Atto 3, which is a great car, by the way, as well, and I've got this one, the Skoda. Me and my wife have got it really, and we just love the car. You know, we love both our cars, but I think this one tips it really, because it's just all round a bit better, if you know what I mean. So, oh hi Alan, so you got an Atto 3. How are you getting on with it? 1 week old. 1 week old, is it? Nice one, man. Yeah, the Atto 3, I don't know if you've had the latest update, but on the latest update they've changed around with the aircon kind of thing, the heating and the aircon, which was a bit of a problem last year. I had a lot of problems with mine. It was overheating in the summer, wasn't really getting warm enough in the winter. They seem to have addressed that now, and what we got now is a situation where it really does work quite well. I was in my Atto 3 earlier when I was dropping my daughter to school, and it's just lovely now. The aircon's perfect on it, so they've really sorted that one out. The great thing with BYD, because they do software over the air updates, when customers sort of like almost complain or just sort of say, look, you know, when they do take the feedback positively, and then they try to address them via software updates. So that's one good thing they do. It should have probably come with better you know, better thermal management and air conditioning than it did originally, but anyway, whatever, they've solved that issue now. And of course, you know, they've been updating various things on there now, so it's another good family car. Like I've said in a lot of my videos, my only thing is I don't know if I want to road trip it so much, you know, go on longer trips with it, because it's not the most efficient, and it's quite juicy, and it also you know, it takes long to charge really. I mean, I've been sitting in here for about 20 minutes now, and I've gone from 26% to 76%. So if you're looking at the classic 80% you know, disconnect in 25 minutes, you've more or less gone from your 20 to 80, if you like, really. So that's ideal, you know, it's enough time to shoot off in, do what you have to do, and come out. Let me just see these comments down here. Have we got any more comments down there? Yeah, so sorry guys, I haven't got my glasses. What an idiot. I haven't got my glasses, so I can't actually see so clearly. I can see Alan. And is that got the sun to deal with as well? What a nightmare. Shadir, is that? I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't want to you know. So you're saying no, Shadir, is that to no to having an electric car? So for anybody in the chat who's not got an electric car and want to ask any questions, please ask questions while I'm on this live, you know, and I'll try my best to help you with them. Maybe I can help solve some misconceptions about electric cars. Maybe I can help you with questions like you know, things that are kind of blown a bit out of proportion, and that kind of thing. Right, Alan there says the amount of times I would use a public charger. Well, that is very true. This is the true thing. Public charging is obviously quite limited, and I'm all for cars that have a 250 odd mile range, and you've got a home charger is fine, you know. My point is, my only point there is, if you was to go on longer trips, I suppose you could say, well, I'll be able to put up with it for that, you know, longer charging or whatever. You say going on a really long trip. I mean, the UK, say I was going from the south to the north, you know, we're going to probably have to charge 2 or 3 times. Is it a problem? No, not really. But you know, it's, I mean, I drove this car up to Liverpool to the parade the other week when Liverpool won the Premiership, and so I went from the southwest to there, and I went there and back without even charging. So, you know, I think that's one way to go. What I think will eventually happen with electric cars is they'll get to that point where it just won't be an issue, you know. We're already starting to see it a little bit now, really, and they are going to charge a lot faster. That's definitely something that we're starting to see now, is quite fast charging cars. There's a car come out called the Zeekr 7. I don't know if it's in the UK yet, but I think it might come out next year in the UK. But I've seen some videos on that, and that is blistering. I mean, it charges sort of like 10 to 80% in about 10 minutes. So, I mean, you know, you can't even rush to the toilet and get back in that time. So they're going that way now. So it's getting a lot quicker. But and I do mention this in my videos, if you have a home charger, okay, and if you have a home charger and you're doing your usual stuff, going to work and back, dropping kids to school, doing your shopping, doing all the things that we do in our day-to-day lives, these cars are more than fine, and they are a lot cheaper, of course. And we're going to see, by the way, with price of oil, we're going to see a huge influx of huge inflation of we're going to see a huge inflation of petrol prices going really high, you know. So that's going to happen, you know, believe you me, with this war that's going on. So So it's going to get very expensive there. So it is a cheaper option. If you're like me, I've taken on this as a kind of experiment, really. And I wanted to live with an electric car. I don't have a home charger right now. I'm hoping to put something in place where I can have one. So I do public charging mostly. So I do some slow charging and some rapid charging, but it works out fine for me. I mean, on this car, it's now on 82%, and it's got I should disconnect soon. 82%, and it's on 325 miles. Well, that's I mean, I'm not going to drive that till next week even. I won't need to charge again, so it's not like I'm every day at chargers, you know what I mean? Like back in the day when you had a Nissan Leaf or something, and you'd done sort of 80 miles and you had to keep on charging it. This one I keep going, with a combination of my wife using it for work, me potting around doing stuff in it as well. So yeah. Alan says the LFP battery was important to me, plus the 100% charge. Yeah, that's one good thing with the BYDs, of course, is they do charge to 100%. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, cars don't charge to 100%, we have to think of 80%, because that's another thing that has knocked with electric cars is really, you don't really want to go much below 10%, let's say, and you don't want to really go higher than 80% when you're charging them, and so therefore you've got 70% of your battery. So how does that make sense? People will say, I don't go to the petrol pump and put it in and just fill it up to fill it sort of 3/4 full. I fill it up. Well, one great thing with the LFP battery, because of the design of it, the way it's made and everything else, the way it holds its energy, and all the rest of it, you are able to charge it to 100%. And so I do tend to do that on mine. So you've got that full extent of the battery you can use on a BYD, which is really good as well. But no, the Atto 3 is a really lovely car. It's a really lovely car. So I'm 84% in the Skoda. I'm getting 43 kilowatts now, so it's obviously tailed right off because I was getting 100 before, and around about 70%. So it's now on a top-up slow charge. So I'll disconnect soon because there's hardly any point in sitting here with that. But I have 332 miles on the clock, which, okay, well, the efficiency of this car, the way it is you're more or less getting the claim range. So I reckon from that 330 I'll probably get 320 out of it. It's that kind of thing. But thanks for joining in, Alan. I appreciate that. It's just a quick go live job, and if you haven't subscribed, please like and subscribe. I do a lot on the Atto 3, so I've got some videos coming up on the Atto 3 very soon. I'm going to do a kind of a wilderness run, and we're going to see how the vehicle to load works in the real world in a kind of rural environment. So I'd love to camp out on it, but I'm quite a tall guy. I don't know if I'd be able to get in the back of the Atto. I don't know if I'd be able to lay flat in the Atto 3 or not. And I'm not the youngest, you know what I mean? So I've got to think about that side of it as well. But I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that kind of a thing. Would be brilliant. But anyway, it's great to have you in, guys, and thanks for joining me. And if you've got any questions, please drop them in the comments down below, and I'll answer them. So if you've got any questions about electric cars or the Skoda or the BYD, yeah, let us know. Alan, out of interest, Alan, have you got the latest update, the 8.3 or whatever it was? I don't know if you're in the UK or not, because that one was meant to do something with AC charging, but I don't really know. It says to optimize the AC charging or something like that, if I remember rightly, something like that, something along the lines of kind of performance. I think it uses the word performance, in fact, AC performance. So I don't know what that really means, because at AC charging you don't really have performance. It just charges at that speed, and that's really it. It doesn't really fluctuate much or that kind of thing. So I'm not too sure quite what's going on there. The only thing I thought is it getting more than the 11 kilowatts which it's supposed to get, the BYD Atto 3? So have they upped that charging speed? That could be one thing I was thinking, because I think now with electric cars they should all be at a minimum of 22 kilowatt slow charging. So if you're out and about and you plug into a car park sort of charger or something like that, if it's doing 22 kilowatts and you go off and do what you've got to do, when you come back, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to have a pretty half decent amount of miles gone in there, you know. Because one of the problems with the 7 kWh charger, unless you're there for hours and hours, it actually is no benefit of, and I don't charge it, I don't actually connect to them because I don't tend to be sort of like supermarket ones and stuff, because you plug into those and you go in and do your shopping, you come out and you say, oh, I put 2% in, so what was the point in that? So it's hardly any point in actually, you know, loading up on those. So that's one thing. But definitely with the AC charging, there's some changes happen there on the BYD Atto 3. So Alan, if you have got that update, and have you noticed any difference in the AC charging on it, as an example? Because that's what basically that update was. The one I did the week before, which was the 8.1 or whatever it was update, that had lots of stuff on it. We got YouTube on here and all of that kind of stuff. It's quite a big update. That one was quite a good one. So I've got a video on the channel if you wanna scoot back and have a look at that, and I'll go over all what was actually on that update. This one came along pretty quickly, so I don't know whether BYD are going to start doing even more updates now, or I mean, I know Tesla do virtually one a week, but most of them are bug fixes and just very minor things. So you might start seeing that maybe BYD are going to go that way. But stay glued to the channel, because I am going to be start test driving and doing some reviews of all the other BYD products. So I'm going to start doing that very soon. So there's the new Dolphin Surf, is it? The new Dolphin Surf. I want to get my hands on one of those and see what I can do with that. But yeah, right. So Alan says there, can't say I have noticed. Is that experienced? Oh, okay. On the charging, yeah. It's just that on the update it said, you know, charging performance, AC charging performance, and I thought, well, charging performance, I can understand DC charging performance, maybe they're going to give it more capability to accept more power or something like that, but for AC it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because it's just going to pull that, you know, the cars are geared up enough to take up to 11 kilowatts. So if you're plugging into a 7.4 kilowatt charger, you're just hoping to see 7.4 kilowatts as an example, you know, or 11 kilowatt. You know you're going to get somewhere near that. Probably won't even quite get 11 actually. You'll probably get 10 something. But yeah, the point is there. But so that's interesting anyway. So yeah, but I'll be doing that. So I'm going to disconnect now, guys. So I'll probably leap off. I'm going to start doing more lives. So I'm probably doing more scheduled lives than this one. I just was sitting at the charger. I just thought, why don't I just go live and have a little chat with people if they're interested, sort of thing. So, but yeah, it's. I've got to say that it's the best decision I ever made going electric. And bearing in mind what I said earlier, I'm coming from gas cars, from petrol cars, and you know, I love my petrol cars as well, no problem with them, but I do think electric's the future. Everything is just so much smoother, everything is just so much more, you know, you've got that, obviously you've got that torque and that kick, you know. They're just lovely to drive on motorways, they're lovely to drive around the country, everything, you know. It's I just think they're great, really. And I know not everybody shares that opinion, especially in my age bracket, I would say, particularly. I'm in my late 50s now, but even so, you know, the transition is happening. I'm seeing so many more on the road now. In the UK, we're quite blessed actually, because we have got a lot of different varieties of electric cars. Let's be honest about it. We got a lot. I mean, you know, virtually everything from the Chinese ones, the German ones, all around the world. Even Lucid is coming here, the American car, the Lucid, quite luxury sedans and stuff they do. They're coming over to the UK very soon, I heard the other day. So you know, we're just getting cars from all over the world, and it's brilliant, really. So the choice is there, and I think that's what will be the bigger help. We still need to work on charging for people that can't charge at home. We still need to be able to be working on solutions for that, whether there be some kind of curbside, you know, where we can put the I was at a EV show the other week, and there was a guy there selling these chargers which can go underneath the pavement outside of your house or whatever, and then plug into the car, so there's no trip hazard to get around those things. But it's still got to all be approved by councils and the government probably and all the rest of it. But that could be one way forward. That could really solve that issue. So because ultimately the best way to go from there really. So so yeah, but I suppose I'm showing in one way you still can do it even if you don't have a home charger. It just depends how much dedicated you are. It's a lot harder, of course, because you know, I mean, okay, this is now up to 90%, and I've got 354 miles. Well, 354 miles, you know, even if I get say 330 of that, I mean, that's going to take me days and days and days and days of just pottering around to get down, especially this nice weather we're having. What great weather we're having in the UK, by the way. But even so, you know, it's still very much there. So yeah, so we got one guy up at the charger here. He's got a Kia EV6 there, nice car. So I'm going to head on out live. Thanks, Alan, for tuning in, and you know, I'll look to go live again. I'll do a few more scheduled lives, and I'll probably do some more in the evening because I have a lot of viewers in places like China, obviously, Singapore. I've got a lot, Thailand, all around there. I know the BYD Atto 3 is a taxi generally in Thailand, as example. They sell tons of BYD Atto 3s, and they use them as taxis out there. I've been told that by a few friends. They're all over the place. So I get a lot of viewers from there. They're obviously interested in probably how Europeans are doing with the BYD Atto 3, I guess. So, but anyway, so I'm going to check on out now, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I shall catch you very soon in another video, I'm pretty sure. Okay.